I get asked this question all the time. Should I spend money on ads or should I invest in SEO? Here's the truth. Paid ads can definitely work, but they stop working the second your card stops swiping. SEO, when done right, keeps generating leads even if you gotta take a little break. And just to be clear, there are some contractors where ads are actually the better move. And so in this video, I'm gonna be breaking down those nuances, find out what the best strategy is for your business. That way you're not guessing with your hard-earned cash. And by the way, I'm Sammy. My team have helped dozens of contractors rank locally and even helped some of them reduce their ad budgets. And so in this video, we're gonna be breaking down who can be helped by this and who maybe can't. All right, let's get started with our first point, and that's that paid ads work fast, but they also stop fast too. Ads are kind of like caffeine. You get that instant energy from that first cup of Celsius in the afternoon, but an hour later, you're going back for a 5-hour energy shot. And as soon as you stop sucking down caffeine, you feel that drain. And ads are kind of the same way. When you stop putting money into ads, the pipeline just dries up. And this is important because paid ads can drive traffic quickly. But if you don't have organic SEO to back you up, but the second you pull back that budget, if you don't have a strong SEO foundation, then you might be back on page 5, and we all know what that means. You're pretty much invisible. Now, I'm not saying that ads don't work. I remember doing a consultation with a roofing company one time, and they said they spend $20,000 to $30,000 per month on ads from Google, but they see about $200,000 to $300,000 per month back from those ads. If you can get ads dialed in, sometimes it can be a predictable way to bring in leads for your business. You just got to know that you need to spend money to make money. Now, here's the nuance that Google doesn't really want you to know. Google ads are not a set it and forget it type of marketing platform. Not only do you still need to do keyword research, you also got to mark your negative keywords. You got to optimize everything out the gate, make sure you have good creative and images and all that good stuff. But then over time, to reduce your ad spend, to be more efficient, you have to optimize the ads constantly. And if you just follow Google's directions, they're just going to be wasting your cash left and right. They don't care about your money. That's how they make most of their money, $175 billion per year just in search ads. And if you hire the wrong Google Ads expert, they might not set things up right in the beginning. They might not be optimizing correctly, so you might be spending too much. It's a really hard game to play, but if you play it right, it can work. When it came time to picking the growth service that I would offer alongside websites for my business, there was a reason why I didn't go with ads and I went with SEO. And it's simply because ads are rented traffic and SEO builds equity. So that brings us to our second point. SEO takes longer, but builds momentum. You see, SEO is not about paying for attention. It's about earning it. You're building this digital footprint with Google that it can trust long term. And by the way, that trust you're building with Google for SEO today is probably going to be the same trust you need to show up in AI search today and beyond. Now, the nice thing about SEO is once you start to show up in the little blue links, once you start to show up in the map pack, you start getting leads just like you would with Google Ads. And the reason why everybody says that SEO takes time is because it depends on where you're at. It depends on the competition in your area. Local SEO is pretty easy. It comes down to 3 things. Your Google business profile, that's a little thing that shows up next to the map. Your website, you want to have it well structured, and you want to tell Google what you do and where you do it. And last but not least, you got to build authority. And that's by having locally relevant and industry relevant backlinks pointing back to your website. That's pretty much it, people. That's the whole game. Now, again, depending on your competition is how fast you'll see results. And by the way, if you're targeting different services in different areas, you're probably going to get early wins in the early days, and it might just take longer to show up for your main service in your main area because that's just where the most competition is. For instance, there's a roofing client we built them all the way up to the first page in just a little over a year. And unfortunately, due to circumstances, they had to stop working with us. No problem, no hard feelings. And we can see that their rankings have gone down, their impressions have gone down, but they're still showing up on the first page and they haven't done SEO in over half a year. That's the takeaway. Ads stop working when you stop paying for them. And SEO keeps paying you back. And that brings me to my third point, leads. Let's talk about what really matters, lead quality. SEO leads are usually ready to hire because they're searching with intent. Think about it, especially in the early days, whether you're doing Google ads or you're doing Meta ads, you're casting a very wide net. When people show up to your website through SEO, it's because they used a search like roofers near me. That person has a problem and they need to get it solved as soon as possible. Somebody seeing a roofing ad on Facebook might not even own a home. The research backs this up. SEO leads tend to close faster, have higher average ticket value, and they show up less skeptically because they found you weren't pestering them while they were scrolling the gram. Just remember that SEO leads are looking for your help and ad leads are just kind of looking around. Doesn't mean you don't want those leads, but the SEO leads tend to be better qualified. So we know that both strategies can work for different businesses and sometimes the same business, but let's get more specific. What industries work better for SEO and what industries work better for ads? And let's start by looking at who SEO works best for. Here's the thing, not every contractor needs SEO right away, but for the right ones, it can be a gold mine. And one of the big things I want you to think about is the emergency side of your business. Now, not every contractor has an emergency side of their business, but put that in the back of your head because we're gonna keep talking about that for the rest of the video. For a lot of contractors, you offer a higher ticket service. Think about like a luxury kitchen remodel. That could be $100,000 job. People aren't gonna jump into that right away. They're going to do research. So these higher ticket, non-emergency contractors, I'm talking about home remodelers, kitchen, bath, and whole home. I'm talking about roof replacement and re-roofing. I'm talking about HVAC system replacement and installs, not so much the repair side of it. I'm talking about custom home builders, ADU builders. I'm talking about landscape design, hardscapes, patios, decks, all those things. These are the kind of jobs where people research, they compare options, they're checking reviews, and they're getting multiple quotes. They're about to invest tens of thousands of dollars. Of course, they're going to do this heavy lifting. That's where showing up organically and having great content and a strong maps presence can pay off. You can spend all this time working on your content. However, if you're not ranking, none of this matters. And so if you offer higher ticket services and you don't really have an emergency side of your business, then SEO is pretty much the only playbook you want to have. Little nuance for that coming in a bit. But that brings me to the next point. Which industries are ads best for? Think about your emergency service. If you're locked out of your car in the grocery store parking lot, you do not care who is the best qualified locksmith. I just want somebody there right now that's fairly affordable that can get me back in my Subaru. So I'm thinking about those industries right now. That's where ads can really benefit. Plumbers, I'm talking about your emergency leaks, your burst pipes, your clogs. I'm talking about locksmiths, lockouts, and lost keys. Water damage and restoration companies. You're not going to take a lot of time. You might research a little bit, but you got to get the work done quickly. Tree service, especially after storms. We're talking hail. We're talking about emergencies. On the east coast of the country, we're talking about hurricanes, right? And emergency HVAC repair, right? If it's 110 degrees in Scottsdale, Arizona, you just want an HVAC company. You don't necessarily need the best. So if you're a true, my thing is broken and I need you out here as soon as possible type niche, well, Google Ads can be a great way to capture that emergency intent right now. But it still doesn't hurt to have a good SEO foundation in place for your ongoing higher ticket, non-emergency work and to build your brand. And there's one more nuance to those higher ticket, non-emergency services. Let's think about it. If you are a luxury kitchen remodeler, well, those people are going to take time to research. What do people do when they're taking time to research? Well, eventually they stop researching, right? And they start doom scrolling. And what if you could show up in the doom scrolling space? That's where I think something like meta ads complementing your SEO strategy can be helpful. But if they didn't show up on your website in the first place to hit that meta pixel that's going to trigger the ads on Instagram later, well, then you're really shooting in the dark and spending a lot of money on ad spend. Here's the thing, no matter how you get leads for your business, SEO can still help you out. A lot of contractors, especially ones who've been around for a long time, able to rely on word of mouth and referrals for business, think, maybe I'll just run some ads. It's easier, faster, and I'll just get it done. But even if you're paying for clicks, you still need to earn the conversions. Because let's be real, if your landing page sucks, people are going to hit that back button faster than you can say cost per click. Here's the bottom line. Can ads help you grow your business? Absolutely. Can SEO help grow your business? Absolutely. But you want to start by asking yourself, what kind of business do I have? If you're higher ticket, less emergency, then you're definitely going to want to be showing up in the organic results. And then you maybe want to back that up with some research-based ads, which will probably be more like meta ads. If you're more of an emergency type business and you just need people to click right away, then you probably want to lead with stuff like Google ads and back that up with solid SEO. Remember, having highly optimized pages helps improve your quality score, which makes your cost per click go down. So basically, surprise, surprise, the guy that doesn't offer Google ads or meta ads is recommending that you should be focused on your SEO. Look, that roofing company I told you about is a prime example that paying for ads can definitely pay off. But if you've been paying for clicks that disappear the second your budget runs out and you want to build something in compounds instead, then you should start thinking about your SEO. The first link in the description below is for our 30-day local SEO playbook. It's a little intense, but it's the same roadmap we use to help contractors replace ad spend with predictable inbound calls through organic search. Look, if you're already blowing thousands of dollars per month on ad spend and you're wanting to supplement that with SEO to maybe reduce that ad spend, we should check out the second link below because it's for a free SEO strategy video. I can at least give you your next moves, and maybe it'll make sense for us to book a call and dig a little bit deeper into that strategy. It's 1000% a fact that ads will get you attention, but SEO will get you authority. And the contractors who build authority always win. Don't forget to grab your 30-day local SEO playbook. Check out this really long ass video where I break down the entire playbook, and I'll catch you in the next one.